Hi everyone, it's France Hutchison, our last day of the Coaching Summit. C'est notre dernière journée, 5e journée du sommet du coaching, notre 2e édition en 2020. Et je croyais vraiment quelle meilleure façon de célébrer la fin de cette semaine-là, de 5 jours de sommet, plus de 11 ateliers en présentiel, 11 workshops delivered this week, also with morning inspirations, with panel members, with people who offered testimonials. People also recorded great tools that they recorded their session and they offered it to the Coaching Summit. So it was an amazing collaboration. C'était une collaboration incroyable entre des coachs, des spécialistes en apprentissage, des gens qui sont impliqués autant à l'interne dans la fonction publique, mais aussi des coachs de l'externe. Nous avons aussi eu l'implication des écoles de coaching. So we had coaching schools who also helped us find coaches for that coaching summit. And we also had the great collaboration of the the Canada School Public Service, who helped us made this happen. So it was an amazing event, lots of lessons learned, lots of collaboration also of coaches who helped us do the matching between the coachees and the coaches. And a lot of you were wondering, okay, what were the numbers around this coaching summit? How many people did really attend the session? How many people received coaching? So I have numbers for you. And after that, we can move on to the importance of the role of the collaborators who made this happen. Donc, les nombres, les chiffres sont très importants parce que la première édition, the first edition we had for the Coaching Summit happened in May 2020. And during that time, it was important for us to match a coach with a coachee and offer them an opportunity to have a coaching conversation. At that time, we had 278 coachees who benefited from a coaching conversation, and we had 71 coaches at that time. The second time, the coaching network, the Government of Canada Coaching Network, we said, hey, why don't we try it again? And why don't we do it before the end of the year? I think it would be a good thing, or we think it would be a good thing. Our goal was 100, and we tripled that number, 100 coaches, and we tripled that number. So nous avons eu plus de 300 coachs qui ont contribué à la semaine ou le sommet du coaching. Donc, c'est un exploit extraordinaire. On a énormément de reconnaissance pour la contribution des coachs externes et des coachs à l'interne aussi. Et sans oublier vraiment qu'à ce sommet, this summit, we wanted also to offer learning products, learning opportunities, and connect people not only with a coach for a coaching conversation, but with great content. So we had 11 live workshops. We had panel members. We had experts, coaches who offered great tools. We had morning inspirations, and this could have not happened without the help of the producers, Barbara, Alexandre. I think we had Jonathan as well, Barbara, and Nancy. Is that right? I think so.
Yes, we did.
Thank you. So 4 great producers, and it was just an awesome project. Obviously, we want to repeat the experience, but first we want to get a sense of what did the coaches appreciated? Qu'est-ce que les coachs ont apprécié? Et un peu aussi aller chercher la participation, aussi le point de vue des participants. So we want to hear from people in the chat what they liked about coaching, what they've learned about coaching during this week, and also maybe guide us for the next coaching summit that is ahead for 2021. Donc, voilà un peu l'objectif de la séance d'aujourd'hui. On veut vraiment mettre l'emphase sur l'impact du coaching, qu'on veut continuer à construire cette culture de coaching-là au sein de la fonction publique, cette grande collaboration-là aussi entre les coachs et spécialistes en apprentissage, l'école de la fonction publique et tout le réseau externe aussi. Donc, on veut un peu commencer par la question pour vous, les coachs. Ça va se faire vraiment sous une forme de conversation avec les coachs qui sont présents aujourd'hui. À l'écran, vous les voyez, il y a Amanda Brandy Moore, Colleen Pigeon, Michel Derry, Janet Marinica, sorry if I say it wrong, Kelly O'Rourke, Lyle Toop, I hope I say it right. Sorry if I don't say it right, it's my French here. Rabia Traga, j'espère que je le dis bien aussi. Julie Côté, Gord Sarkisian, I hope I say it, Dolores Calendar Taylor, Barbara Graham, Rachel Haché, Lucie Piat, Mandy Brazo, et Hélène Hamilton, Jacinthe Morin aussi qui était dans le comité organisateur. Bonjour Jacinthe, Nancy Garib et Alexandre et Barbara qui sont aussi présents mais invisibles avec leur caméra. Donc, j'aimerais savoir cette édition du Sommet du Coaching, this edition of the Coaching Summit, what was one of your key takeaway during the Coaching Summit? What was maybe one haha moment or something that really gave you the sentiment or the emotion that you really made a difference? Alors, je vais juste attendre de voir qui peut lever la main et voudrait briser la glace. Who wants to break the ice with that open question? Amanda.
Merci, France, and thank you everyone for such a great week. It's been super enjoyable. One of my key takeaways was actually how simple, when I asked someone to say, what does your perfect day look like? Because a work-life balance was, for me, a lot of what I heard through the coachees. And when they would walk me through a day of a work-life balance, they're not asking for much. And the aha moment I had was when you actually go through and you write down and you talk with someone, this is what I want for myself, and this is something that would make me happy. I really looked at that and we guided towards saying, this is achievable. It doesn't feel like you're climbing that big of a mountain that you sort of set it up for in the first place. So in identifying what you want, writing it down, and then sort of looking at key components of your day that you can start now rather than trying to take it all on. That was really big for me. And I've done that myself where I've made things seem so huge and grand. And when we actually write it down and we talk with someone, it's very achievable. So I hope that helps. And I hope that other people do the same for themselves.
And thank you, Amanda, for breaking the ice. And in addition to that, can you tell us a bit more about who you are? Are you a public servant? Are you an external coach? Just to give us a bit more context of who's Amanda.
Merci, France. I'm an external coach. It was a friend that invited me that recommended this and thought I would really enjoy it. And I started coaching this year. And a lot of what drives me to coach is I have a not-for-profit where we encourage females to trail run in the community. It's called Forest Strong. And through Forest Strong, I started realizing how much I really like working with people. And I sort of want to help people live their dreams like I've been trying to live mine the best that I can and stay true to myself. So that's really what led me to coaching.
Thank you, Amanda. It's always interesting to hear the story of people behind being a coach. Rabia, vous aviez d'autres, j'ai vu que vous aviez intervenir votre moment de la semaine que vous aimeriez partager. Le volume, on ne vous entend pas.
Merci. Merci pour cette question. Pour moi, toute la semaine était impressionnante, était touchante. J'ai participé à quelques webinaires. Je trouve que mon départ de cette semaine, c'est vraiment l'ouverture vers le coaching, le rendre accessible à plus de monde. Puis ces gens-là avec qui que j'ai coaché cette semaine, ça m'a donné une réjouissance, une satisfaction, puis encore concrétiser l'accessibilité à un plus grand nombre. J'ai adoré ça.
Merci Rabia. Et pour vous connaître un peu plus, votre rôle?
Oui, moi, je travaille à l'Agence du revenu du Canada. Donc, avant d'être coach, je suis comptable. C'est comme ça que j'ai commencé à l'agence comme vérificatrice. Donc, j'ai fait la vérification fiscale. Et c'est en allant vers la gestion que j'ai découvert, en fait, le coaching en profondeur parce que j'ai fait appel à un coach interne. Et ça m'a fait remarquer que ça correspondait un petit peu à mon style naturel de leader coach. Donc, j'ai été prendre une formation, puis j'ai pratiqué le coaching et depuis 2017, je suis gestionnaire au programme de développement pour les gestionnaires à l'Agence du revenu du Canada.
Merci, Rabia. Toujours intéressant encore de savoir les expériences et les différents chapeaux des coachs. Une autre personne qui aimerait partager, another person. Je vais aller vers Janet et ensuite Lucie.
It's been a wonderful week. I was, so much energy in the sessions that I saw in participating through the summit. And for me as a coach, supporting 3 mid-level professionals, different ages, some younger than others. And the common piece that I saw was transition. I'm looking at possibility of moving forward. These are the realities of my life, and supporting them to have ways in front of them to basically work on every day, to take what they have as blessings in their life today and continue to advocate for those as they either shift jobs or move up the ladder. It was extraordinary to receive the feedback. It's my first time actually doing what we call laser coaching, which is 1 hour going from beginning to end. I really loved it. And so I'm looking forward to the next opportunity.
And Janet, to get to know you a bit more, are you external coach or having another hat somewhere?
I'm actually having another hat somewhere. So today I'm an executive actually in the federal public service. I'm a fellow CPA, CMA in the finance and corporate sector, and I'm on executive interchange. So, I've had many coaching experiences along the way. And so, and some achievement coaching, and stuff like that. So coaching is actually a side hustle for me and growing. And this week I was certified as an integral professional coach, actually 13 years after I first discovered Integral Coaching Canada. And I was working a long time ago at the Treasury Board Secretariat, and I was a volunteer client for a colleague who was an internal audit, who was undertaking her Integral Coaching Canada certification. And so that's where I started.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing also the other stories that you have and what brought you to coaching. And the word transition was really something very important, and also the one topic that a lot of coaches wanted to discuss. Lucie, à ton tour. Et ensuite Pascal.
Oui, alors moi, je suis toujours ravie et impressionnée par la diversité humaine. C'est ça que je trouve le plus beau à chaque nouveau client qui est accompagné, découvrir une nouvelle personne, puis ses caractéristiques propres. C'est vraiment ce qui me touche particulièrement. Hein. Je suis une grande amoureuse de l'humain en général. Pour moi, je rebondis sur le transition, vraiment ce qui a été clé. C'est à quel moment je vois le changement se mettre en œuvre dans les clients que j'accompagne et la différence qu'il y a entre les ressentis en début de séance et en fin de séance. Donc le sourire qui est revenu, le non-verbal qui a changé, se tenir plus droit, des fois les larmes ne coulent plus, à la place il y a un grand sourire. C'est vraiment ça qui me fait chaud au cœur et me nourrit dans la façon dont je peux accompagner, et vraiment ce moment clé de bascule du changement qui est visible à la fin de la séance par un changement d'état. Voilà.
Merci Lucie. Et le rôle que tu joues, à part être coach, est-ce qu'il y a un autre chapeau que tu portes?
C'est ça, moi j'accompagne, je suis un coach externe et donc j'accompagne en coaching avec la discipline qui s'appelle la programmation neurolinguistique, la PNL, et je travaille également avec l'hypnose thérapeutique.
Merci beaucoup, Lucie. C'est intéressant de savoir aussi que le coaching nourishes not only the coachee, but the coach. You will see that the coaches talk with so much passion about what they do. And even though it takes energy to do coaching, it gives a lot of energy to the coaches. So what they gave you, they got in return, I'm sure. Pascal, tu avais une intervention.
Oui, bonjour. Je n'ai pas eu l'occasion de vous rencontrer ailleurs, mais en fait, moi, j'ai commencé la semaine avec France alors qu'on a fait une entrevue, un podcast. Et ça fait quelques mois que l'idée mijotait, mais là, on s'est précipité là-dedans. Je dois dire que ça m'a remis dans le coaching de façon accélérée.
Et là, je t'arrête, Pascal, parce que je veux t'introduire rapidement. Les gens qui ne savent pas, for those who don't know, during this week, we launched the first podcast of the Government of Canada Coaching Network. And the person who did it is Pascal Tivierge. So if you want to see the face of someone who created the podcast, it's Pascal Tivierge. She's the instigator of this. She's the expert in that area, and she will for sure invite more people. Donc, elle va inviter d'autres gens pour d'autres entrevues. Alors, soit des coachs, des participants, des gestionnaires, des personnes qui veulent aussi faire des partages. Alors, Pascal, c'est votre go-to person. Not to put you on the spot, Pascal, but...
Merci beaucoup. J'apprécie, France. Et en fait, l'aventure est incroyable. Et je pense que c'est juste le début. J'ai apprécié ce que tu as dit, Lucie. Je suis une amoureuse des humains. En fait, la transition connexion humaine, puis de voir comment les choses changent. Et puis, je pense qu'avec un podcast, c'est juste l'occasion d'accompagner les gens à des moments où est-ce qu'ils ne s'y attendent pas. Ils regardent, ils écoutent, puis ça les éduque. En fait, il y a les quelques personnes avec qui j'ai testé le message avant de le lancer. C'était une ancienne sous-ministre adjointe qui fait du mentorat. Elle dit « Ah, je n'avais pas réalisé la différence entre le coaching et le mentorat à ce point-là. » Fait que je pense qu'on était un peu dans la théorie parce que c'était pour lancer le bal, mais l'idée, c'est qu'on poursuivra la conversation et comme France le disait, interviewer certains d'entre vous, mais également interviewer des bénéficiaires, disons. Puis je pense que dans beaucoup de ministères, puis moi, je vais le mentionner parce que je vois une collègue ici, une ou deux, de Affaires mondiales Canada, puis dans beaucoup de ministères, ayant parlé à d'autres coachs, c'est beaucoup mentorat qui est confondu avec coaching. Puis c'est pas pareil. Quand on prépare pour un concours, c'est du mentorat. Quand on prépare pour la vie, puis attaquer des défis, puis juste voir les choses différemment. Alors, tout ça pour dire que si vous avez des références, des gens que vous pensez pourraient me parler comme gestionnaire ou comme employé en général, qui auraient le goût de parler de leur expérience, s'il vous plaît, référez-les moi. Le lien de mon canal YouTube est là sur le programme, mais aussi c'est pascal.tivierge@international.gc.ca.
Place-le, s'il te plaît, dans le clavardage, Pascal.
Oui, je vais
Comme
le
ça,
mettre,
tu vas avoir beaucoup de courriels.
Merci beaucoup pour des idées. En tout cas, ce n'est pas les idées qui manquent, c'est vraiment une production maison. Alors, on va améliorer le son parce que j'avais un téléphone, mais en tout cas, si vous avez des commentaires constructifs, allez-y, pas trop loin. Oui, Jacinthe. Oui. Et puis, pour la répondre à ta question, le coaching, avant que tu me la poses, je t'ai interviewée, alors je vais me lancer. Mais moi, j'ai été exposée au coaching il y a peut-être 14 ans, la première fois, quand dans mon ancien job, je suis gestionnaire à Affaires mondiales. Et il y avait un groupe de gestionnaires qui avait du cercle de coaching pour le leadership et des choses comme ça. J'ai été exposée les premières fois. Et ensuite de ça, en 2013, j'étais en transition internationale. Je vivais à l'étranger. J'ai eu ma fille. Il s'est passé beaucoup de choses. C'était la période où on était en questionnement d'emploi, certains d'entre nous à la fonction publique. Et j'ai été coachée. Heureusement, ça m'a sauvée. Puis je me suis dit qu'il y a quelque chose d'autre que je pouvais faire qui ne serait pas juste public servant. Et de là, éventuellement, j'ai décidé de suivre une formation. J'ai fait ça à Ericsson International et j'ai tout fini ma formation au complet. Et j'en fais un petit peu en parallèle. Il y a des gens, puis avec cette énergie-là du groupe, puis la préparation à l'événement, il y a des gens qui m'ont contacté, m'ont dit « Pascal, je voudrais que tu me coaches. » Fait que je me remets là-dedans. Ça me donne tellement d'énergie. Pas mal plus que les formulaires parfois.
Coaches, merci, Pascal. Les coach, get ready because also look into the chat because some of the comments are maybe directly linked to what you just said. So I invite also you as a panelist to respond directly to the participant or to all. So you can give advice or answers on the specific comment that is related to what you just said. Before I move to Jacinthe, there was Dolores Calendar Taylor who said a good comment. You write something about the importance of collaboration, teamwork. I don't have the exact words because it was higher in my chat. Dolores, would you like to give us your haha moment and maybe just explain the role that you had this week?
Certainly, thank you. It was a great pleasure to be a part of this. And what I mentioned was the fact that this was a success not because of one person, but because of the collaborative and the excitement about being part of this process. And I've often heard about coaching, and I know that within the school in particular, we have people like France and various people across the coast that they focus a lot on this essential process. And for me, it was very, very helpful. And also I felt very natural, very comfortable. I felt very in tune with the participants. I felt very in tune with my coach. The trust level was over the top. And as you said, you mentioned something, France, about it being energizing to the coach as well as the coachee. I felt as if it wasn't a counseling session. It was just an opportunity to utilize the powerful skill sets that embrace the public service of Canada to be able to say, wow, we are not only called to be wonderful to each other when we are in meetings, we can, outside of the framework of meetings, we can actually utilize our skill sets. And these are things that have reciprocal benefits. So even though I was sharing something, I felt as if I shared something that was affecting both my personal and professional thought processes. And I thought it was a very valuable insight. What I saw in the process was that it moves very natural, but at the same time unforced. And I felt that it moved in such a way that it was reciprocally respectful to both myself. There was no pushing, there was no kind of posturing or people pleasing. And I'm very excited about this. I just think this is a great opportunity for all of you that are coaches. It is a very powerful way for the government of Canada to move from an ethics of we just see our job in terms of the government, but we don't see how we inform people's lives, their homes, their families. The impact is so substantial. And I was happy to be an example of that, because I know that we're in a season of social distancing, COVID. A lot of us we have the opportunities of virtual, but at the same time, we recognize that when we come together like this, we are also providing more power to the government of Canada, because a lot of times people see public servants as just rigid, but we are in your doorsteps, we are in your homes, and we're being respectful as we do so. So thank you. Thanks for that.
Dolores is a learning specialist at the Canada School Public Service. She always has those powerful words that makes us, it resonates, it builds our resilience. It also makes us reflect on how do we want to work within that public service. So Dolores, your words are powerful. I hear the word trust, connecting, and using this as a way of a leverage within the public service in order to change and connect people differently. Je vais aller vers Jacinthe. Thank you, Dolores. Jacinthe, tu avais la main levée et ensuite, je vais changer la question un peu pour aller chercher d'autres participations et d'autres perspectives de coach. Jacinthe.
Bonjour, hello everybody. I have to say this week, I think, was so timely for so many people. It was a good sharing of positive energy. I think it's Janet who mentioned that, but je pense que tout le monde, autant nous les coachs que les clients qu'on a coachés, ça nous a fait du bien parce qu'on vit des moments difficiles. Puis je pense que ça c'est ça. Parce que moi, je sais que comme coach, ça me fait du bien quand je peux accompagner quelqu'un. Puis je pense que j'ai à ma façon fait une différence pour ces gens-là. Si je me présente, France, avant que tu me le demandes.
You read my mind.
Yeah. So, I'm an internal coach. Je suis dans la journée, je gère des subventions-contributions pour le ministère des Relations couronnes autochtones. So, totally different tasks, but like many coaching came to me as something that I started doing without tools. So for me, I took a course in Montreal in the neuro-linguistic programming au Centre québécois de PNL. And because I thought I wanted to help these people that came to me for kind of advice, sometimes mentoring and so on. So the different hats, and I'm a supervisor. So supervisor, mentor, coach. The more I develop it, the more I'm happy to switch hats, even during a session with somebody. I try to do my coaching once, just coaching, but with my colleagues and staff, je me change de chapeau. Moi, ma collègue Pierrette, je ne pense pas qu'elle est pas là. On est deux coachs internes. On a fait le webinaire de lundi où on a parlé justement de la différence, puis on a encouragé tout le monde, because that's my last message, is everybody can make a difference, coaches, everybody, if we all try to better listen to each other and better ask questions, then it's a butterfly impact, l'effet papillon. Alors, je vais arrêter.
Merci Jacinthe. On est tellement des gens qui sont passionnés par ce qu'on fait. Let me switch the question, because I've heard a bit, this year it's timely, we need it. What has helped you? What's one object or one technique or one question that helped you go through 2020? Donc, j'aimerais aller chercher vraiment votre côté un peu plus personnel. We are coaches, but we're human beings, and it was tough for everyone. So, Colleen, I've seen your hand raised, and if there's someone else afterwards, just give me a sign. And okay, Michelle, and then Lyle. Okay. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks. Thank you so much, France, for moderating this and for all your skills that you've put to planning this entire week. It's been fantastic. For your question, I think the thing that has helped me the most this year with everything that everyone is experiencing is actually being in nature. And I have my little soapstone loon here as my representation of the cottage and the lake and just nature itself. I think that has been a huge help to me this year, just to be able to reconnect with my environment when we can't necessarily connect with people as much as we used to. Paying attention to our environment becomes that much more important, and being in nature this year has really helped me. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Colleen. And you're a coach and you're also a government employee. Would you like to expand a bit on that?
Sure. Yeah, I am a government employee. I work for Global Affairs Canada. I've been posted abroad for about half of my career. So I spend half my time in Canada and half my time elsewhere. But I really came to coaching, and I don't do it as part of my normal job, but I came to coaching through my passion for learning and teaching. And about 15 years ago, wow, I just did the math on that. Okay, 15 years ago, I was doing some courses in adult training and learning and leadership, and was introduced to the idea of coaching, and 3 years later found myself in a program at Royal Roads University for executive coaching, and I love it as a tool, an additional tool to learning and teaching. It's not just about being in front of a classroom or formal sort of learning opportunities. There's so many possibilities for learning and growing in conversation. And I think that's the part about coaching that I love, keeps me going to it, even though I don't get paid for it. I love it so much that that's payment in itself. And it allows me to apply, I mean, every day you can apply skills from coaching to everyday conversations. You don't need to be a coach. You don't need to have that title. You don't need to have that job description. There's skills that you learn through coaching that can be applied in any situation. And I think that has really helped me through my career and my life. Yeah.
And you mentioned something very important. You're going to hear, participants will hear a lot of different schools, a lot of different types of coaching, and that's normal. There's not one better than the other. The Coaching Summit was really also putting emphasis on that coaching skill that can be transferred to participants, to leaders, supervisors, to executives, but any level of leadership. It's applicable in your personal life with your kids as well. So it's something that can help grow everybody. J'aimerais aller, là, je ne sais pas si j'ai perdu Michel. Je pense que j'ai perdu Michel, mais je vais aller tout de suite à Lyle. Lyle, your turn now. What has helped you in 2020? And you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. I was expecting to go third. So yeah, it's a great opportunity to be here. Just by way of introduction, I am an external coach. I'm coming to you live from Alberta, and my background is in human resources and operations in not-for-profits. So obviously this year has been like no other year, and hopefully like no other year to follow. And I, like Colleen, I enjoy the outdoors, but when I was thinking about that, it's actually a device. So this is a e-reader, a Kobo, and I actually hadn't spent a lot of time on doing things that I enjoy doing. And so as working through the challenges for this year, I realized, and I found this theme with a number of the coachees I talked to this week, people struggle to invest time in themselves. So for me, this device represents my time to choose what I want to read, when I want to read it, for as long as I want to read it. And, so that, to me, that was very powerful. The second thing about it that's really powerful is that there's no noise or distraction, there's no buzzing, there's no notifications. It's technology, but it's independent. So I don't get the noise and the complications and the updates and all the things that can be kind of overwhelming. So I found that that's really helped with my mental health. And the third thing is I've rediscovered the library and connecting for all of the free materials that are available through my e-reader. And it helps bring structure into my day because you only have 3 weeks to read the book. And if you don't read it after 3 weeks, as you probably know, it disappears and you may or not get it back for a while. So it actually brought some structure into 2020 for me, which was really important to try to get control over things when there's so much that is beyond our control at the present time.
Thank you. There's so many powerful words, Lyle, that you mentioned. The choosing word, the power to choose, but also spending the me time on the right stuff, the things that you can control in that structure, and the new structure maybe that we want to put in place in our lives. So a lot of powerful words. I hope that the participants can grasp and write down these words that definitely when we're hearing coaches speak, there's a different mindset. There's a different way to see things, different perception, different questions that we ask ourselves. I'd like to hear now another person Kelly, who would like to share that, what's that object that helped you this week, this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, France. Hello, my name is Kelly. I'll go ahead and quickly introduce myself as well. I'm also here as an external coach. Previously worked as a public servant and found myself wanting to spend more time just chatting with people one-to-one, getting to know everybody at a really deep level, which eventually when I found coaching was a beautiful open door to what I really wanted to be, the way I really wanted to be spending my time. And even just being in this space amongst other coaches, I always so enjoyed. It's like so many like-minded people coming together, hearing about the way that people like how much joy and energy other people get from their sessions as well. I'm sitting over here thinking, yes, that's exactly how I feel. And so happy to be in everyone's company here. The object that has really helped me move through 2020 has been my journal. It's something that I go to. It's like my sacred space where nobody has to tell me that I've been talking their ear off for too long. I go there with things I'm struggling with. I go there with my dreams, especially in 2020. It's been such a year of so many changes and transitions that's been a space where I can really just pour it all out and move through things. And it is also been a tool that I have come to share with a lot of clients that I work with. I find so many people when they come into a session, it's just that moment of actually stopping and carving out that time to express themselves, to say what's on their mind. They often move themselves into clarity. And I find my journal really does that for me. It's just this time to carve out for myself and to move through whatever is on my mind in that moment. So,
and since you are talking about the journaling, would you have one question that the people, or one recommendation when it comes to start journaling frequently, not to lose the momentum, but how frequently? What should we start drafting? Where should we focus? Give us a few tips here.
Yeah, I'd love to. I have 10 journal prompts that I can pass on. I'll put it in the chat. And it's like a 10 days of journal prompts and walks you through some different options for it. But really, there's two types of journaling. You can either just pull out your journal and let it like free flow, can be really impactful for some people, and other people, a beautiful question, simple as like, what's on my mind today? What do I need to let go of today? And just allowing that to come out. So
thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'll put that resource in the chat.
Put it in the chat, and I invite all the other coaches as well to share more comments. I know a lot of people are reading, and if you want to respond to one participant, don't wait for me to do it. I have to facilitate the conversation. I won't be responding. So please, coaches, do your job and answer some of the questions, or offer book advice or anything that comes into your mind. I see that Michel, you're back with us. L'objet qui t'a ancré cette année ou qui t'a aidé à passer cette année 2020?
Ben, c'est comme un petit bonhomme de neige, mais ce que ça représente pour moi, ça représente la connexion avec mon enfant en moi, avec mon innocence, avec mon non-jugement. Et ça m'a vraiment beaucoup aidé en 2020. Et je vous dirais que cette semaine, ce que j'ai eu la chance de vivre avec les gens qui se sont offerts cette séance de coaching-là, ça a été le partage de... J'ai trouvé tellement que, premièrement, c'était des gens vraiment intéressants, c'était des gens qui nous offraient leur naïveté, leur simplicité, leur ouverture du cœur, de l'esprit, tout le temps avec une petite notion de vouloir faire mieux dans leur job, de vouloir faire mieux avec leur entourage, de vouloir faire mieux avec leurs employés. Et c'était une semaine extraordinaire, mais grâce, je crois, à la partie non-jugement de notre enfant, à la partie innocence, mais cette belle innocence qui permet une connexion avec tout le monde. Et c'est universel. J'ai la chance de coacher des gens qui sont en Afrique, des gens qui sont en Europe, et c'est extraordinaire quand on peut se rejoindre dans l'espèce de pureté, la simplicité, sans faire des choses complexes ou compliquées. Et souvent, quand c'est compliqué, c'est qu'on n'a peut-être pas compris d'un côté comme de l'autre, mais d'offrir simplement au coaché l'opportunité de se redécouvrir, de redécouvrir ses forces, de redécouvrir toutes ses capacités, toutes ces stratégies cachées internes qui font que ces gens-là ont déjà performé, qui sont encore capables, à partir des expériences passées, de performer encore. Et comme une collègue me disait, le passé, c'est un lieu de référence et non un lieu de résidence.
Merci, Michel. Quel beau moment pour passer, mettons, à une autre personne qui va nous partager c'est quoi, qu'est-ce qui lui donne du pouvoir, qu'est-ce qui lui donne de l'énergie. Je regarde Rachel. Je ne sais pas si Rachel, tu serais prête. Et ensuite, j'irai vers, Todd. Et je vais aller vers Barbara ensuite. Donc, Rachel, Todd et Barbara, your object. Let's start with Rachel.
Merci France et merci toutes les autres coachs, vous m'inspirez beaucoup. What a great week and what a great bunch of people here with you and the participants. L'objet que moi j'ai apporté, c'est mon espadrille. Ça donne que dans ma vie, je suis entourée de gens qui font des marathons, de gens qui font des choses exceptionnelles. Puis j'ai toujours été un peu intimidée moi-même parce que moi, je ne suis pas une marathonienne. Donc, je me considérais toujours un peu comme l'imposteur quand j'allais courir. Ben moi, je cours juste des 5 km. Moi, je cours juste pas. Puis là, cette année, le 6 janvier, j'ai décidé que j'allais me donner cette permission-là de courir pour le pur plaisir, d'aller marcher si cette journée-là, le corps voulait marcher. Puis de découvrir le plaisir de se respecter là-dedans. Puis la relation que j'ai établie avec mon espadrille, cette relation de confiance en moi et me faire du bien et me prioriser, il y a un lien là avec le coaching. Puis c'est pas par coïncidence que ce sommet de coaching est arrivé cette année, en 2020, dans tout ce qui se passe. Je faisais partie je dirais, de la première vague là, de coaching qui s'est passée à la fonction publique 10-15 ans passés. J'ai fait ma formation avec Ericsson en 2007, en 2008. J'ai terminé mes différents modules. Et puis là, l'engouement là, autour du coaching était bien présent dans la fonction publique. Et depuis, c'est comme si qu'il y a eu, avec toutes les vagues qui s'est passées, les coupures, etc., c'est comme si que la flamme s'était éteindue, puis il restait un brasier. Puis cette semaine, et au mois de mai, et au cours de cette année, c'est comme si on a soufflé sur cette braise. France a été certainement une instigatrice qui a vraiment soufflé sur la braise, et puis la flamme s'est rallumée. Puis ça me fait plaisir de voir cette flamme qui est réallumée et qui s'est réallumée en moi cette semaine, en me disant qu'il faut que j'accorde plus de place au coaching, il faut que je prenne le premier pas vers prioriser à nouveau le coaching dans ma vie et dans mon espace professionnel. Donc, je pense que 2020, oui, a été une année remplie, l'année qu'on a vécu une transformation globale, mondiale, mais en même temps qui nous a possiblement permis de refocuser sur les priorités et de s'accorder ce privilège-là de faire de la place dans notre vie pour les choses qui sont essentielles.
Merci Rachel, il est tellement important de faire cette place-là, de raviver cette braise-là. How can you reactivate what makes you feel alive, or there's something positive burning inside of you that maybe wants to expand, and the burning might not be the right word here, but you get the image. There's something that you want to bring forward that maybe you feel and I'll use the analogy of the imposter phenomena. Maybe you're saying you're not the right people. Who am I to be the coach? Who am I to lead that project? Or why should I do this more than another? Am I the right person to do this? So that imposter phenomenon is probably common for a lot of us here. But how do we leverage the courage that we have, but also how can we inspire others to do something similar? It's through storytelling. So today we are taking this opportunity to celebrate coaching, but also to share stories that will resonate with other people. And that's the purpose. That's also a big value added through coaching, because you hear the story of the coachee. It resonates also with something inside of us, even if we're a coach. So it's very important, that new connection, that new way of communicating, and it fosters a different culture. It will definitely foster a different way of working, a different workplace, a different collaboration, and we see it happening. We are observing a big shift within the public service through coaching. Todd, your object. Todd was co-leading the Agile workshop on Tuesday. He's a colleague within the public service, and so excited to have you with us and also bring another perspective around coaching. So Todd, your object and maybe your experience around coaching.
Right. I guess my object, this is an object that's, personal and good. We use just as a good object, I guess.
Object or tool. I think Agile could be your object. I think you brought a new perspective on coaching. So if you have no object in mind, no problem. An object that helped you go through 2020. Was the question? But feel free to go beyond or expand on something else.
So something that really helped me is like 2 phrases I tell myself. So one phrase or one question is, is that a genuine question? And I ask that self in my head, am I talking like a lawyer, or am I asking a question I actually don't know the answer? That's been really helpful. And then also, did I get nothing from that coaching? It's just like, anyways, this guy used to be a monk. That's what he told me once, is he gets nothing from coaching. And so I try to think about that and try to not get anything from coaching. I still feel good, when they have good experience, and feel bad when they don't. But it's something I aspire to not get anything from coaching and to have it all about that.
Thank you, Todd. And you are a public servant. You use Agile coaching. Would you like to share more information about your coaching style?
Sure. So yeah, I'm a public servant. It's all pensionable time. That's how you know. So Agile coaching is like a hybrid method of coaching. Similar if you were a supervisor or a manager or director. You're a coach, but you're also something else. And so my something else is that I'm an expert in lean and agile ways of working, that kind of stuff. So I use coaching in a certain way. I have like different hats I wear. So a hat is being an expert or a consultant. Someone comes in and say, what's Agile? What is Scrum? How do I do that? What's the processes? I have that information, but they also use professional coaching as a way to get down to real problems. And usually the way it works, I start in professional coaching just to get what they want. And if, sometimes I'll stay in professional coaching. Other times, when they explicitly ask for advice, I'll provide it, but it's always on the basis of consent. Is it okay if I give you some advice on this?
Okay. Thank you, Todd. I'll have to stop you there because I'd like to go to Barbara. And after that, I think Paul, I'll go back to you. So Barbara, a coach, also a public servant, also really involved in the leadership development programs, if I recall, right? So what helped you this year with go through 2020? What's that object?
Well, it's more of a not one object in particular, but more of a different way of a change that I adjusted what worked for me in the past. I mean, I was forced to. So I would say I'm a very active person. Normally I play a lot of team sports, and so that got shut down, and which was, I certainly didn't like that. So I had to rediscover other ways that I could be active, and so I rediscovered my bicycle, which I used to only take out maybe once a summer. And I mean, I was biking up into November, which that was just like totally unheard of for me in the past, especially if I just go once a year. And I just felt a real sense of freedom on my bicycle, something I could do, and I was moving, and it allowed me to do a lot of thinking and process things. And I don't know, it just really opened up that world of still being active, but doing it in like a solitary activity. And yeah, so that really, I use my bicycle a lot. And also before I rediscovered that, I wouldn't go for walks very often because I was, for me, that was kind of boring in my mind. I was rather like, I'm on all these team sports, that's more exciting. So I rediscovered walking, and now it's one of my treats. As I say, we don't get a lot of treats during this pandemic, so you got to look for the treats. So walking, as simple as it is, it gave me something to look forward to, and I've walked in the rain, and I've been out every day. I'd say 90% of the time I'm out every day, and it allowed me to be more mindful, to observe nature. I would just whiz by stuff before, but it really slowed me down and helped me really connect with, the birds, what's growing. And so now, yeah, so those two things. And I guess one thing that I just kind of pulled out the other day is, we can become so focused on what we can't do. And in fact, they've said a lot of times I hear it's like, we can't think too far ahead. It's like, you got to take one day at a time, because this pandemic is, everything's shifting and changing. So you got to kind of just go one day at a time, as I say. So a couple of years ago, I put together like a collage of my dreams and, what I'd like to do and what's important to me. And I had it in a room, and it was kind of like on the floor out of my vantage point. And recently, actually a number of days ago, I pulled it out, and I was like, oh yeah, those are the things that I still have to accomplish. And those are the things that are important to me. And it was like me seeing beyond, like there is an ending to this pandemic, and oh yeah, I'm going to be able to pick those things up. Mm-hmm. And for me, that was really energizing. And yeah, it's right here. And so just bringing that back into the forefront, that this too will pass. It is taking a while, but this too will pass. And that was a visual reminder. And that collage, I put a lot of thought, and it's very I dug deep for it, and so it really brought some meaning of post-pandemic.
Thank you, Barbara. It's so powerful, having visuals, having powerful words, remind ourselves what's important for us. And yes, exercise is so important as well. Thank you for sharing all those thoughts. I'd like for participants to also share with us what helped them go through 2020, so we can read more about participants, what helped them, what's the object or activity that helped them. And through sharing, we learn also, or to try, maybe we're willing to try something new new, something different. And when we know that it helps someone, well, then we are more convinced that maybe, yes, it could help us. Donc, ça peut nous aider aussi, ou peut-être, pourquoi pas, on va l'essayer. I'd like to go now to Paul Lamoureux, and then after Paul, I'll switch the conversation to another type of question. So, Paul.
Good morning, friends. Good morning, everyone. I live in Victoria. I'm a retired police officer and have a coffee franchise, and I'm an executive coach like Colleen. I went to Railroads as well. 2020 has been a great year for me. You know, it's been, I think COVID has brought so many great things into our lives. I think one of the best thing that I could say, Barbara, I agree with what you is, that's why I'm late. I was out working out with my coach. I have two coaches, and a coach is the one that has saved me. I continue to work out 3 days a week with my coach throughout the whole I've been doing it for 2 years. And I think that's probably the number one thing for me is just staying fit, because it makes such a world of difference for me. And the other thing that kept me going was my other coach. And we had a coaching conversation, and we kind of adopted he said something one day. He's like, how do you, throughout the pandemic, your mindset is so critical. And I really locked on to just get ready. And what can I do right now to get ready for when this is all over? Because I agree, Barbara, this is temporary, and having a coach and helping me understand that I can do so much right now just to get ready, and I'm not stopping. And my wife's a police officer as well, and she's full working and working all the time. And I have a coffee shop that's been busy, never closed. So just getting ready and doing all kinds of things at home just to get ready and take advantage of the time. And I just never stopped. And I think that's been the saving grace for sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Paul. And putting emphasis on exercise is not just to be fit, but also, and having the help of a coach is awesome, depending what type of coaching. There's also that need to increase our level of energy, because if we want to change something in our life and our energy is low, we need energy to make a shift. We need energy to focus on something. We need that level of energy that is required for us to do the first step. Through coaching, you learn that. Through coaching, you get that feeling of being empowered through the coaching experience, and it gives you that first leap of faith. Donc, je suis très consciente de l'impact du coaching, autant pour le coach que le coaché, mais surtout sur le mot énergie. I did a presentation, I think 2 weeks ago, to a team, and through the resilience steps and the behaviors that you need to acquire a certain level of resilience, the number one thing that people said they were missing is that level of energy. So how are you increasing your level of energy? Through exercising, through reading, through coaching, through exercise, or going for a walk outside, connect with nature. So I'd like to hear more of what is your, what increases your level of energy. In the chat. Je sais qu'il reste quelques minutes avant de recevoir John. I'd like to take maybe one more person before we have John joining us. John is our DG at the Canada School Public Service, but maybe one other coach who can share more about one other thing that could complement the conversation, one thing that helped them go through 2020, one tool, one exercise, something maybe different as well than coaching. I know I'm looking for Julie here. I think Julie, you had something that could really complement coaching. Would you like to share here? We can't hear you.
Hi. My name is Julie. I work as a full-time coach. In my previous life, I come from the private sector. So a 26-year experience in IT, information management. Worked in several government consortium activities, but always working in very high-profile accounts and I guess I would say mission critical work. And with that can come a lot of stress. And with that comes a lot of work. So you hear a lot of people say, I'm busy a lot. And I think, we all can kind of lean on that. However, I think that a good part is to just take a step back. And a big thing that I've noticed in 2020 is that sometimes we can take a situation and add complexity. Like if we're going fast, we think we have to keep going fast, but in a parallel lane. And a big thing that I could leave with you with today is to take a step back and to look at more of the somatic feelings. So I come from an integral coaching background. So somatics and cognitive behaviors are very important. And I really believe that sometimes we just need to relax our nervous system. And there's a lot of ways that we can do that. I'm also a yoga instructor and a Reiki practitioner. But I use, my objects that I come today with, I come with everywhere, and that's my essential oils. I really rely on my essential oils. I use it for to calm myself. I use it to also calm my teams that I work with, and I also use it to center myself before any difficult conversation that I need to have. And I do that because it really does bring nature back into the body and allows us to be to kind of lead from a nurtured point. And I really felt that this experience this week was really eye-opening. I felt that the people we connected with really were salivating for this discussion. And I really found that, that we were really contributing to their world. And I think it came at a good part. I really, really want to honor the Coaching Summit and the organization. I think people needed it, and it was a great time. I think oftentimes at Christmas, we can say, oh no, we'll leave that till January. But I really think that there is, again, there's a time and a place for everything, and this was a good time.
Thank you, Julie. It was so timely for sure. Yes, we could have postponed to 2021. We already had one coaching event in May, and we decided that it was going to be a great way to end the 2020, the year. I see now that John Metcalf has joined us. I don't know if, John, you want to join with your camera on? Yes, great. We see you. So I'm very pleased, John, to introduce you to not all the coaches, but a portion of the coaches. We have about more than 15 participants here. These are all the coaches or learning specialists who offer, there are a few missing, but they offered their support and help during this week. We're missing probably 285, but we could not fit them on the screen. And unfortunately, you would have probably just 5 seconds to speak during the hour if you were to be present. All of them were going to be present. But all of you, all the coaches, I want to introduce you, John Metcalf. He's the DG of the transferable skills team within the Canada School Public Service. I want to say something very personal, John, if you allow me, before I give you the time to speak. If this can happen, if the coaching summit could happen, it's not just because of France and the coaching network within the federal public service. It's because of the leadership and the leadership style of John Metcalf. John has joined the school probably 2 years ago. Yes, but you really had the feel, your leadership styles empower people. And since John has joined the school and became my DG, his style just made me feel so empowered, and I could had wings to fly further and to bring coaching within the public service with the coaching network. So it was very important for me to have John with us to highlight not only the contribution of all the coaches, but also our DG, John Metcalf, within the Canada School Public Service, made this happen and gave me the power and the wind under my wings to bring all of you on board and also bring the network together. Donc, John, sorry to put you on the spot, but I had to say this about you. I know you're humble, and but I just want to say a big thank you in my name, but also in the names of all the other coaches and everybody who lived coaching this week. So thank you from all of us. À toi.
Alors, merci beaucoup, France. Et, I would say in response that coaching is something I believe in so fundamentally, but I've not sort of got the depth of experience, certainly, that you do. So if creating a little space to allow you to shine and to sort of show your leadership on initiatives, not just like this one, which has been amazing, but also some of the new curriculum we've been developing and some of the other projects that you have contributed to in the coaching space. I'm happy to make a little room in our team's priorities for that, because I believe this work is so important. And I believe that you bring passion and energy to it that really allow the whole thing to blossom. Mais écoute, je veux aussi dire un gros merci à vous tous et de vous féliciter de tout ce que j'ai vu et de tout ce que j'ai entendu. Ça a été une semaine incroyable. As I was sort of logging on, I was hearing about, we could have done this in we snuck one in at the end of the year. We could have done it in 2021. Can't we do more than one in 2021? I would love to see this happen more often. Ceci étant dit, je sais que ça représente beaucoup de travail. Et je suis reconnaissant de l'effort de tous ceux et celles qui ont dédié beaucoup de temps ces dernières semaines pour réaliser ce projet. But I do want to say that as much as it is hard work putting on something like this, to me, the impact is just so incredible that I feel it's an investment that really does pay off. Ce sommet représente une collaboration, moi je dirais, exceptionnelle entre le réseau du coaching et l'école et les coachs externes, ainsi que les associations canadiennes. Un gros merci à vous tous, à tous ceux et celles qui ont contribué leur talent pour assurer le succès de la semaine. Je suis certain que ça a été, on en a parlé déjà, mais pour résumer un peu les activités et la participation au sommet. Alors, il y a eu les 4 séances matinales, les 11 séances offertes en collaboration avec l'école, 22 conférenciers et formateurs, 4 producteurs, plus de 301 coachs. Et comme on l'a dit en début de semaine, 1373 séances individuelles de coaching et 1676 participants inscrits. C'est vraiment incroyable. Il y a 2 ans, je ne crois pas qu'on aurait vu une telle participation. Even from the sort of the smaller scale summit we did earlier in the year, this represents just an incredible sort of growth in the sort of desire for there to be a coaching conversation in government. So, I also think it's not done. Every time we try one of these and we see the success, it only convinces me that we need to do them more often. Je sais que vous autres, vous avez eu la chance d'échanger des idées et de partager des meilleures pratiques parmi les coachs et parmi les ministères. La richesse de cette opportunité est vraiment quelque chose qui, pour moi, est très spécial. Et je crois que c'est quelque chose qui continue même après le sommet. I think some of the connections made here this week, both from a coaching perspective, but also from just a sharing and collaborating perspective, will have sort of longer lasting implications that I think are really important as we look to build coaching as a coaching culture in government. I want to say that we all in our team always try to push to test new ways of working and new sort of approaches to doing events like this. So we're always kind of experimenting as we go and piloting different things. And I know for this week, we tried Zoom webinar and we tried Padlet, and I really look forward to hearing sort of what worked well on those and where we might tweak things in the future, because as the popularity of these coaching weeks has grown, we need to think about what tools we can be using to enable them. I think one thing that is clear is that with the engagement shown this week, we need to think about, okay, what does the next one look like? And I think there are probably additional resources in the school that we might be able to leverage to help out as the workload keeps growing and growing. And I think, as we said at the beginning of the week, on visait peut-être avoir 100 coachs et tout ce qui est la logistique pour organiser 100 coachs et 500 sessions de coaching. Quand on fait, on a 300 coachs et 1300 séances de coaching, ça représente beaucoup plus de travail. Mais je crois que la semaine a été une grande réussite à cause de l'énergie et les contributions de plusieurs personnes. there's no one organization, I think, that could have pulled this off. I think it really was a success because of the partnership between the school and the network and all the coaches who gave their time. Alors, écoutez, l'École de la fonction publique du Canada est toujours ouverte aux collaborations dans le domaine du coaching. This is something that I see only increasing need for in government. It is really something that I think we are seeing grow and flourish. And if there's anything we at the school can ever do to help sort of create an environment where it will thrive, I am very open to ideas. And I know France has always got some great, one idea is never sitting still long enough before another one jumps in behind. And that's part of what makes this file so exciting. Alors, j'aimerais tout simplement vous remercier tous et toutes. Vraiment une semaine exceptionnelle. Je crois que l'enthousiasme des participants et l'enthousiasme de tous les coachs a vraiment beaucoup contribué au succès du sommet. Et oui, je vous souhaite tous une bonne période des fêtes. I hope everybody gets a little bit of relaxing time after what has undoubtedly been a very busy week. Alors, merci beaucoup et France, je te passe la parole.
Merci beaucoup, John. Beaucoup de beaux commentaires dans la zone de clavardage. Donc, si tu as la chance de lire avant de nous quitter, je pense que c'est beaucoup de remerciements, beaucoup de reconnaissance et c'est vraiment intéressant de voir la reconnaissance qu'il y a non seulement de chaque individu, mais aussi de tout collaborateur, tout partenaire et entre autres l'École de la fonction publique. Donc, thank you, John, for being with us for a short moment. It's always short, but it's always so appreciated when you take the time to spend and give us an inspiring message. Thank you so much. Je sais que nous avons une deuxième partie. Je pense que John va nous quitter ou reste avec nous, je ne suis pas certaine. Mais on a une partie où je n'ai pas entendu tous les coachs. Je pense que c'est important de vous entendre, ceux qui n'ont pas eu la chance d'échanger avec nous. I'd like to shift maybe for the other part of the conversation on 2021. What is our wish for 2021? Where are we going from here? I know a lot of participants asked for references, tools. So let's take just maybe a deep breath here, take a mindful moment, take a pause. Let's reconvene, reconnect with ourselves. I promised a mindful moment during the summit and I did not deliver on it. And when I promise something, I'd like to deliver on it, even if it's 30 seconds. Donc, if you allow me to bring you in just a quick reconnection breathing exercise. You want to close your camera, please do so. Just don't close Zoom. Stay with us. But if you want to just close your camera, feel free to do so and invite the participants as well to do the same. Just, reconnecting exercise. It's going to take 2 minutes. So close your eyes. Sit comfortably on your chair and really align your spine. Roll back your shoulders. Release tensions in your face. Donc, laissez aller toutes les tensions de votre visage. Allongez votre colonne. Installez-vous confortablement. Roll back. Donc, roulez les épaules vers l'arrière pour libérer les tensions. And just inhale by your nose. Donc, respirez par le nez et prenez le temps de vraiment bien inspirer. A mini pause and exhale longer. Just do this at your own rhythm. Reconnect with simply your breathing, not your thoughts, not your emotions, just your breathing. Donc, reconnectez avec votre souffle, votre respiration. Oubliez ce qui se passe dans votre tête, dans vos émotions. Faites juste vous connecter au souffle. And through exhaling, just let go everything that doesn't need to be in your space or in your body or in your mind. Just let go through exhalation. Alors, libérez par le souffle en expirant tout ce qui n'a pas besoin d'être dans votre espace, dans votre tête, dans vos émotions. Libérez-le. And exhale and inhale like this. Another 3 times. 3 fois encore. And at each time, you really feel that sensation of calmness, of reconnection with yourself, and just appreciate taking a pause, taking a break. Allow yourself to be there. Donc, appréciez la pause, le moment de juste vous reconnecter à vous-même. Juste apprécier ce moment-là de pause que vous vous permettez. Appreciate the silence. Appréciez le silence. Feel the tensions just leave your space. Laissez les tensions et sentez-les se dissiper, se libérer de votre espace. And I'll count to 5. Je vais compter jusqu'à 5 et à 5, on ouvrira les yeux. At 5, we will reopen our eyes. Continue breathing. 1, 2, 3, 4 et 5. And 5. When I do this exercise and come back in the space, the virtual space, open your camera when you're ready. Donc, en espérant que nous avons encore nos participants qui sont toujours présents, la question qui vient, the next question in the next phase of questioning will be, let's focus on what we want for the future, for 2021. We lived coaching during the summit. Some of you live coaching personally, professionally. You either receive it or give it. But what should we plant or what should we expect in 2021? What do you want? And that's a good question because most of us know what we don't want. But what do we want more of? Qu'est-ce que nous voulons plus ou implanter en 2021? Et j'aimerais aussi voir les réponses des gens aussi dans le chat. Donc, les participants, participants, if you want to start writing down some of your answers regarding that question. What do we want in 2021? Alors, je vois Bandy. Ensuite, je vais aller à des gens qui n'ont pas encore répondu. Mandy, Nancy. Ensuite, je ferai un dernier survol. Mandy, Nancy, il y a Gord aussi que j'aimerais entendre. Puis ensuite, je vais me diriger vers d'autres. Merci. Mandy.
Thank you, France, and thank you for this incredible week. I have been a public servant for 14 years, and never in my entire career have I ever experienced something as unbelievably magical as this week has been, from a learning perspective, but also from a perspective of just opening up to a completely different way of being. And hasn't that been the theme of this year? Just opening up to different ways of experiencing the world. So I just feel like it's a cherry on top of a year that has been an interesting lot, but it was just an incredible experience. Whenever we were doing that breathing exercise, what was coming up for me most, and it has come up in a lot of conversations I've had, especially in this last week, permission. The permission to ask for what you need. And more importantly, the permission to take it. And how empowering it can be when we can stand in what we value and what we want for ourselves, first and foremost. And then we can go out into the world and do what we were meant to do and live up to the vocations that we're in, but only after we've identified what makes us the best versions of ourselves. And this year has felt that it's been an opportunity to root into that permission and to do what you needed to do in order to show up strong this year.
Ah, powerful, Mandy. Would you like to put that in the chat as well? Because I want reminders. I want people also to take notes of these new way of doing things in 2021 or new ways of seeing things or new engagements. Donc, je vois aussi les coachs. Si vous voulez les coachs, if you coaches you want to also write down in the chat, please do so. Mandy, thank you so much. Nancy, your turn.
Well, it's hard to follow that amazing, heartfelt expression, Mandy. And all I can say is it perfectly resonates. For me, 2020 had me ask, what is most important to you? And 2021 has me asking, who do you want to be in 2021 and why? And I almost turn that coaching conversation on myself, because 2021 has been truly, like Paul said, like honestly, a highly grounding year in really orienting me to what is most important. And the gift of this past week has been that, perhaps that is how I came to be like going into coaching certification on the tail end of it now. And I think we can often get sort of like in this environment of a hierarchical organization, a cubicle that we're situated in, and forget that we're exactly like who is here and how we've connected. And so we're just a part of a bigger system. And that's actually what coaching is for me. And it resonates with what Mandy said, like how can we bring that ability for someone to attune to that connection in themselves, bring out that creator in themselves to create what they want in the world? And one of the powerful things and reasons why I'm such a strong proponent of and student of coaching is that power happened to me when I was going through a major transition and several years ago. But the point is that the visualization, the mind works in pictures. And I find that just pulling back that visualization of the end of the transition brings me right back into that power. So it's like, yeah, that's right. That's what I created. And you are, when your mind's eye brings something to life, the power is just really resounding. And your wish is that you can enable this in others.
Thank you, Nancy. So the wish and also the visualization, great tools as well to start meditating. Put more presence around what you want and allow yourself to be in that space, but also allow yourself to wish something for 2020 that might be differ from what you've been in the past as well. So thank you, Nancy. I hope, when I hear people, I always send them great vibes to continue on that journey. So thank you, Nancy.
I'm going to add one more tool because
Yes.
I didn't get to do so earlier, and it's a completely free tool, and it was my tool for 2020. It's called Insight Timer. And it's a completely free app. I see Julie and Mandy, they're my tribe there, nodding their heads. So it's completely free if you take the paid version. It's unbelievable. Just listening to podcasts, talks, mindset training, meditations. It really has the whole gamut. And so it's definitely been my prop for 2020.
Thank you, Nancy. Please write it down in the chat so people can get access to it. Gord, we haven't heard from you, so your turn.
Well, thank you, France. I'm happy to share. I'm Gord Sarkisian. I'm out in Vancouver. I ride my bike here every day, and it's also been my therapy as I've gone through 2020. I think if I was to reach out and think about something that I would like, I think that I'm an educator, so I teach a college level class, and I think the notion of being willing to listen beyond that burning desire to respond, so that you just ask questions, be curious, care about what that person's saying, and just get to a little bit deeper level than you've been willing to do in the past. And I have this great tool that's really helped me for the last 20 years do this. It's a book written by a fellow by the name of Don Miguel Ruiz. And the book is called The Four Agreements. And I'll post it in the chat, but Don Miguel talks about being impeccable with your word. He talks about not taking things personally. He talks about not making assumptions. And he talks about always doing your best. And if you view those as foundations for your life, boy, it's hard to make a mistake. You know, you'll make them, but it's very hard to do. So I'll post that in the chat. I used it in every one of my 5 coaching sessions this week, and I introduced it as a tool that I use, and every one of my sessions came back to that particular tool, where people said, "Wow, I guess I am making a few assumptions. Maybe I should start to ask some questions." And oh gosh, I guess I am taking some things personally. Maybe I should not do that. And by doing those things, I think it's much easier to be you. And I think that's what it's all about.
Thank you, Gordon. Please, yes, do write it down. I'm looking at someone who didn't speak yet. Hélène Hamilton. Hélène, you were part of our panel discussion. You were the coach who brought those 3 guests who were amazing participants and panelists who shared about their experience being coached within their organization, and they used also the NOVA profile. So that was an amazing conversation we had, similar to this, but a bit more intimate because there was less people. Hélène, your wish for 2021, ton désir pour 2021 et ce que tu vas mettre en place.
Alors, merci de la méditation que tu nous as proposée parce qu'il y avait plein d'idées, puis après ça, ça a fait chou. Et ce que je me souhaite d'abord, c'est d'avoir plus de rencontres significatives, more significant human interaction. Et pourquoi? Parce qu'on en a tous de besoin. Et puis, on le voit avec la pandémie, c'est parfois, puis moi, je le vois dans mon outil, parfois, c'est une interaction à plusieurs, puis parfois, c'est individuel, 1 à 1. Parfois, c'est dans des settings comme on a aujourd'hui, mais on en a tous de besoin. Donc, c'est ce que je nous souhaite. C'est notre nourriture première, les interactions humaines.
Merci. Merci, Hélène. Et oui, il y a un sentiment de vouloir connecter plus. On n'est jamais aussi connecté que maintenant par la technologie, mais c'est la différence dans le comment on veut connecter avec les gens aussi, avec qui on veut connecter. So how do we connect and with whom? A lot of people are connected virtually through meetings, through all kinds of events online. We are being, a lot passive as well when we are connected virtually, when we are just listening to a webinar or listening to a meeting. But truly connecting through a virtual space, I think our coaching really helped us as well, using the technology and the virtual space and still connect at a human level, even if it was a technology between people. So that was really, really powerful. So how we connect and using the tools of coaching, the questioning, the listening, and being more self-aware of our behaviors, c'est vraiment, vraiment important. Donc, je pense que ce niveau d'introspection-là est déjà amorcé chez plusieurs personnes. Ça va continuer en 2021. Barbara, our producer, just checking because there was someone who raised their hand. I just want to clarify how you want this person to intervene, Barbara.
Well, hi, everyone. Joel, you've been so patient with your hand. I can allow you to talk. I'm able to chat you. So, Joel, if you want to take yourself off the mic, you'll find it in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen as soon as I make you a panelist, and you'll be able to talk. So Joel, it is all yours. He'll be with us in a second and a half. Hi, Joel, if you want to take yourself off the mic, it's in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. And maybe Joel
might have it.
Here.
He was waiting for a long time. Yes. Okay, well, do you want to fix that, Barbara? See if, and just give me a chat or send me a chat if you're able to fix it with Joel? Sure. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. On va parler encore de 2021. Your wish for 2021, and I'll go from one person to another. I'd like to hear from all of you, and maybe a few sentences on what's your wish for 2021, and after that we will conclude. Donc, Rachel, your wish for 2021.
Oui, merci. Je l'ai mis dans le chat en anglais, mais je vais le répéter en français. Je suis la coprésidente de la communauté de pratique de carrière et puis on travaille sur un projet d'envergure nationale de maximiser et d'offrir des services de carrière pour l'ensemble de la fonction publique. Il y a certains ministères qui ont des services, il y en a d'autres qui n'en ont pas. On aimerait que tout le monde ait accès à des services de carrière. Et puis, cette semaine, ça m'a fait réaliser qu'à travers les connexions humaines qu'on a fait ici, à travers le coaching et sa puissance, et donc comment ça peut avoir des influences sur les individus, sur le leadership d'une organisation, puis aussi sur l'organisation dans son ensemble. Mon souhait, c'est de create the new normal and be part of that shift towards having a career coaching culture within the public service.
Thank you, Rachel. And I'm extending this information and invitation. There is a network on GC Collab. It's the Government of Canada Coaching Network. This will be the space where if you are interested in sharing an opportunity or sharing a partnership or collaboration, don't wait for the network to do it. If you want to extend your wings and reach some people and get help and more collaborators, please do so on our network. It's our way as well to connect people. The network is there to connect coaches, but also people who want to intervene in that space and have help. Donc, merci Rachel, si tu veux le mettre sur notre GC Collab. Puis évidemment, je vais mettre... suite au sommet du coaching, after this coaching summit, you will all receive communications from us with links, with references, and you will have definitely a link to that coaching, GC Collab coaching. And yes, if you're an external and you want to be part of it, you will be invited. We need just to send you the link directly to your email. So you should receive after this summit the invitation to be part of the coaching summit, the coaching GC Collab page. Merci, Rachel. I'll go to Amanda. Amanda.
Merci, France. I was thinking about what I want for 2021, and really, as I'm hearing everyone speak, what really comes true to me is the freedom to make the choice that really makes you happy. And I think a lot of us are so focused on everyone else's happiness and what they want out of life that they don't really look at themselves. So what I wish for myself and for everyone is that when you think of your goals or your life purpose for 2021, focus on what makes you feel the goosebumps, the hair stand on your arms, what kind of gets you energized. We talked about energy. And when you're really focused on something you love, I truly believe you're going to get to your sub goals and you're going to get the pathway, create the bridge to reach it. Because that's what makes us feel really good, is I think when we set our mind on something that's true to us. And I think when you do something like that, you outreach to the community indirectly. You're going to really inspire everyone else to do what's really important for themselves. So that's what I wish for myself and for everyone.
Write it down in the chat if you want, because when we write it down, it creates also an anchor where we kind of put the energy into doing it. So thank you, Amanda, for sharing that. Pascal and then Colleen. Pascal.
Oui, merci. Je vais réitérer ce que les autres ont dit dans le sens de se reconnecter avec soi-même. 2020 nous a shaké, nous a brassé. On a découvert des ressources qui étaient insoupçonnées ou qui étaient bien, bien, bien cachées puis qu'on avait tassées parce qu'on était trop occupés. On a découvert qu'on avait du temps. Donc, dans mon cas, j'ai fait un podcast, mais il y en a d'autres, il y en a qui ont commencé à courir, il y en a d'autres qui ont commencé à faire des trucs artistiques. En tout cas, chacun a découvert, reconnecté avec ses passions. Et pour 2021, l'important, c'est de ne pas perdre de vue ce qui vous a allumé en 2020. Rappelez-vous qu'il y en a, puis si vous ne l'avez pas découvert, poursuivez, parce qu'on a plus de temps disponible, heureusement ou malheureusement. Moi, je trouve que c'est un bonheur parce que je n'ai jamais eu autant de temps à moi. Au début, j'étais un petit peu déstabilisée, mais je m'en sers. Je ne sais plus où mettre mes idées puis à quel moment les faire. Donc, parce qu'on ne voit pas des gens, parce que le vendredi soir, on reste à la maison, parce qu'on ne voit pas, tu sais, on a du temps qui est généré. So use that time to do something creative, something for yourself, but also something for others, because one thing is to reconnect with yourself, but the other thing is to give back. And there are so many ways to do it, and you've got the time. So there's no excuse. And actually, that's what's going to drive you beyond 2021, etc., and connect with your energies and the vibes that you have inside. And as coaches, we know how important this is, but and all of the attendees, the participants also have hopefully connected with that or started to connect with that in themselves. So, bonne année 2021.
Merci, Pascal, et on va t'écouter encore pour les prochains podcasts, les prochains balados. Merci. Colleen.
I knew you were coming to me. I should have been prepared. Yeah, I think for 2021, for me, this week especially has been an excellent reminder that one of the things that we learn as coaches is to always be curious. And I would like to wish for everyone, including myself, to stay curious all the time. We've had so many heavy things this year happen, so many issues that have been very, very polarizing. And I think if we remember to stay curious about ourselves and about others, about what we think and what we do, I think that's really going to bring a lot of learning and understanding. And so for me, for 2021, it's stay curious.
Thank you, Colleen. Je vais aller maintenant à Rabia et ensuite Janet et ensuite Paul. Rabia.
Merci, France. Je vois qu'il y a d'un côté les coachs et les panélistes, d'un autre côté, c'est les participants. Puis cette énergie qui a été créée durant ce sommet est vraiment très puissante. Je nous souhaite encore qu'elle soit plus grande pour 2021. Puis je souhaite, comme dit John Wetmore, le coaching, c'est un mode de pensée et c'est une façon d'être. Je pense que ça ajoute de la qualité dans la vie des gens, incluant le coach. Puis c'est ça que je nous souhaite, de la qualité encore plus dans nos vies, en prenant un recul, puis en mettant le doigt sur ce qui est important, puis ce qu'on peut offrir aux autres.
Merci, Rabia, et très bien dit. Janet, 2021.
So I'm struck by, the phrase of what does it take to raise a child? It's a village, but also what does it take to raise a village? It's quite a community. And so 2020, to leverage what others have said, I really believe in the power of curiosity. But I understand that this year may have us in a place where we're wondering how to get there. So for 2021, that we may allow ourselves and give ourselves permission to become curious. So if we're not there yet, to become curious about curiosity. What is that actually? So as to discover which gifts that we each bring into this world. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, Janet, for those. Thank you for those wise words. I'll go to Paul and after Barbara and Michelle. Paul.
Great question, France. I think, one of the things that I don't want to do is I don't want to waste. I don't want this year to be a waste because, I've really learned a lot. We met our neighbors out here. We got creative and we met neighbors. I've been living in this street for 6 years. And this year, we got out with my family and we went and we met our neighbors and we did things as a family. And I think I'm going to take all the benefits of 2020 with me to 2021, right? I don't want it to be a waste. I don't want it to go 2020 is over and I want to take all of that and just continue to have an amazing 2021 because I really think it's your mindset. And that's what I'm taking the most. All the little things that I've learned and my neighbors that I've met and the relationships that I've gotten better. And so that's for me.
So you're bringing that in 2021.
For sure.
Barbara, and then Michelle, and then Lyle.
I can't help but think of the term hindsight is 2020. And as we look back on this year, there's a lot of things that have surfaced that were repressed or kept down for so long, a lot of vulnerabilities, and we all know what they are. And I'd say what's become more apparent is things that need to change, and it all starts with ourselves. And so what I would want is to take note of what needs to change and to integrate that in our daily lives. And then also, you know, the broader collective, it will impact the society at large, and not to be shy. If I don't do it, don't always rely on someone, that it starts right here. And so, and to build on that, you know, we might have realized there's things that we might need to change in ourselves, and to be mindful of that we all are here for a reason. We all have a life purpose. Some of us are in the process of discovering, some of us know, and to pay attention to that, what gives you energy, as was spoken before, because that is what, that's a clue to what you need to do, what you need to accomplish, how you need to be, and to hold on to that. And that can help you set goals for yourself. And if ever you want to really, when you think of coaching, the ultimate, I guess the highest level of coaching is transformation. And if you really want to transform yourself and go deep, there are tools to help that. And you know, one that I use is the Enneagram, and it is rich, it is deep, and yeah. So pay attention to what you've learned from 2020 and how you want to be different in 2021, and to pay attention to what gives you energy.
Thank you, Barbara. So many great things summarized in here. Michelle, Lyle, and then I'll move to Kelly and Lucy. Michelle.
Eh bien, pour 2021, ce que je souhaite à tout le monde, c'est de partager ouvertement, mais aussi de recevoir. Quand c'est à votre tour de recevoir, quand c'est à votre tour d'avoir un compliment, de bien le prendre, puis de l'accepter, de nous permettre de grandir. Et comme coach, bien, peut-être un peu, ce que je nous souhaite, c'est un peu d'être comme un quai. Alors, quand les voiliers arrivent, puis on les voiles fendus, puis sont un peu écréanchés, permettons-leur de s'amarrer à notre quai, échangeons avec eux, permettons-leur d'aller chercher ce qu'ils ont besoin pour la réparation, puis laissons-les aller vers le large pour qu'ils continuent leur chemin.
Quelle belle image. Et c'est apaisant, cette belle image-là. Merci, Michelle. Lyle.
All right, thank you. So as we all know, 2020 has been very unprecedented, a very difficult year. We're more socially distant, and we're more isolated really than we've had more of our freedoms taken away than any year in memory for any of us. And hopefully going into the future, that won't be the case as well. And I think this is really, unfortunately, for a lot of us, bred negative thoughts, negativity, spending a lot of time ruminating about things that aren't going well in our personal lives, things we can't do, restrictions that are in place. I find myself falling into time. So my hope for 2021 and beyond for all of us is to find or rediscover ways to bring joy and positivity back into our lives, particularly as we are starting to get these freedoms, the ability to, hug a loved one. Whoever thought that would be something we put on our Christmas list, right? As our wish list. The world's very different now. So I think it's about bringing joy and positivity into our lives. And so how do we do that? A couple of thoughts I have is, first of all, building off of what Paul said, reflecting on what are the things that we've learned, what are the skills, what is the new resilience, what are we taking out of this? For me personally, I've gotten involved in volunteering, doing all kinds of things I wouldn't have otherwise done, and I'm really enjoying that. So I think we all have positive things to do that. But the other thing, which is maybe more difficult, I discovered that with coaching today, and I don't want to single out men in particular, but I think men are particularly bad at sharing. by nature. And I think this is a very important, more willing to share our hopes and fears and dreams and struggles with people that we trust. So one of the tools that I strongly recommend people use when they're working through coaching is to remember to, with that confidence, somebody that you trust. Sometimes it takes a while to think about that. Reach out to that person, say to them, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what I'm focusing on. Become a partner on their journey. And, we're not in this alone. So I think that would be the way to bring more joy and positivity into our world.
Thank you, Lyle. So true. Positivity. Kelly, and then Lucy, and then Todd, and Hélène. I think you started the ball with the topic of 2021. So there's probably Julie missing. So let's move to Kelly.
Yes, awesome. One of the things that really stuck with me in 2020, I had somebody say to me just in passing at one point that 2020 really felt like change from minute to minute. And that really struck me. It really felt that way at times, that from minute to minute, things were changing. And what I learned about myself through that was really learning to adapt to change more quickly than I ever have before. And in a way where I've been able to maintain like a steadiness through change, not quite so rocked by it. And my hope would be that we continue to embrace that in 2021, continue to stay open to change and to develop a skill set to embrace and adapt with change. And furthermore, that we open up more and more to this idea that decisions we make don't need to be permanent, that we can make the decisions that best suit us, that best suit our family, and that there is room to step into changes ourselves as need be. I know as a young family in 2020, that has been one of the most empowering things for us, has been to really step into what best serves our family in this moment. And it's something that I'll carry with me into 2021 and beyond.
Thank you, Kelly. So powerful, the embracing change. And I'm keeping the journal in my head. Lucie?
Oui, alors je résonne vraiment avec tout ce qui a été dit. Moi, ce que je nous souhaite particulièrement pour 2021, c'est des endroits de calme. Des endroits où on peut se déposer, hein, et pourquoi pas même se confier, prendre soin de ce qui est en nous. Alors, par exemple, en s'asseyant quelques minutes chaque matin dans le silence, hein, ça permet vraiment de déposer ce qui est à l'intérieur et de faire le point sur ce qui est présent pour prendre conscience. Et plus on aura une belle conscience de nous-mêmes, plus on peut voir notre réalité comme on en a envie. Hein, puis, à travers tout ça, se rappeler qu'on est en vie. Et moi, pour ça, chaque matin, j'allume une bougie. Hein, c'est l'objet que j'avais amené dans ma lanterne.
Ah oui.
Merci. Ça me rappelle que j'ai la chance d'être en vie, hein, et que je peux aussi être en reliance avec tout ce qui m'entoure. Donc, je ne suis pas seule sur mon chemin. Puis, en effet, focuser sur le positif et aussi sur la beauté qui nous entoure, hein, que ce soit à travers les plantes vertes de notre appartement, les yeux de notre chat ou la vivacité de nos enfants. Ou juste un geste de notre conjoint qui nous dit bonjour. Vraiment, il y a de la beauté dans tout ce qui nous entoure, et quand on est capable de prendre le temps de la voir, et on l'est tous, hein, c'est juste que ça améliore notre expérience vraiment beaucoup, beaucoup, hein, parce qu'on crée la réalité que l'on vit à travers la façon dont on voit la vie. Hein. Donc, plus on voit de beauté autour de nous, plus on peut voir la beauté qui se trouve dans ce monde, et plus l'expérience est extraordinaire.
Merci, Lucie. J'ai l'impression qu'on va entendre Lucie faire des méditations, quelque chose de positif. Sa voix, elle est porteuse, et j'ai l'impression que ce serait très calmant si on l'entendait faire des méditations guidées. Une suggestion en 2021. Merci, Lucie. Todd, ensuite Julie. We hear you now.
I'll go. It just shit happens. I guess, that's just what.
That's what you bring in 2021, Todd.
Yeah.
Shit happens.
Yeah. And it's okay.
Yes, it's okay. Yes. Thank you, Todd. Do you want to expand on that or you want to stop here? Okay. Julie?
Hi. So the question is what do I wish for 2021?
Yes.
Well, I wish that that the summit and all of the exercises and working with people and gaining new perspectives really kind of leads you forward into the new year with a different outlook. You know, we've been thrown with so many different challenges this year, and we will have continued challenges in 2021. But I think that we're going to come with it with a new resilience and a and some new tools, right? I mean, we've worked through with coachees. I mean, I took on 18 coachees this week. Wow. And 2 months ago, I probably would have said I was crazy, but in this new world, I'm taking it on. So I really, really would just want to rejoice with everybody that we're all going to have an incredible new year coming. And we've got some recent information, you know, federally and publicly that, you know, we're in this together, but we're going to be all right. And I just invite everyone to, as much as they can, step out of their comfort zone and really find themselves at the edge, because that's where we grow. And I really, really am very excited for everyone I spoke with this week, including these coaches that are here volunteering. I think we've all elevated the game across Canada. And I really feel with seeing people from Alberta and all over the place. And I talked with people in Atlantic Canada. And I really feel that this summit has really connected Canadians. And I really feel like I gave back to people that have been working so hard in the background to make my life as a Canadian better. So I just wanted to say thank you across the board to all the Canadian civil servants that are out there, you know, trying to keep us safe. So thanks very much. And I wish you all continued success.
Thank you, Julie. You were speaking and I had tears in my eyes and emotion. So it's a feeling of that connection that is so powerful. And I want to thank you for mentioning that it's, yes, across Canada, it connects us as Canadians and help us also go through this together. Mandy, I didn't forget you. Mandy, 2021 for you, your engagement or what you want to bring more of.
Oh, so I mean, I started off the conversation by saying permission because that's
did you?
like
yeah, you're right.
That,
I forgot.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
But with all of this, you know, too, I'm echoing a couple of other people, but just that surrendering to what you need and just you know, believing in yourself and trusting yourself and following that inner voice that is inside all of us, trying to guide us to the direction that we need to go, and just surrendering to the fact that life happens and we're a part of it, and we are but, you know, we are but a speck on a rock spinning in infinite space, but we are still a speck on the rock spinning in infinite space. You know, it's that powerful place of surrender.
Thank you so much. I'm so fulfilled with all of your wise words, experiences. Je suis tellement remplie de cette belle expérience-là. Autant je devrais être exténuée de la semaine, je me sens vraiment réénergisée. Et je voulais vous remercier. Est-ce que j'ai oublié quelqu'un? Did I forget anyone who would like to share 2021 and did not have a chance? I didn't forget anyone? Okay.
Yes, you did.
Yes, who?
You, yourself.
Oh, yeah.
France.
You're right.
Je pense que c'est le principe premier du coaching.
Oui, oui,
allez,
oui.
Allez, France, pense à toi un peu.
Merci beaucoup. Un partage pour 2021, c'est d'amener vraiment le coaching encore plus loin. Cette année, ça a été une grande transition. It was a huge transformation for me and transition where I left the school officially. I'm still at the school, but I left. My position is now under Treasury Board Secretariat. I am a free agent now. I am not a learning specialist under the Canada School Public Service. And in that recruitment, when I I applied to become a free agent, my big goal was to bring coaching even further within the public service. So I got a chance to be interviewed and to be recruited under Treasury Board Secretariat, where I will be leading team coaching within the public service. Donc, it's a huge shift for me because for the last 15 years, I've been in the Canada School Public Service. I've started within the public service working at the school. I left in few departments. I even became an entrepreneur at one point. I got back at the school, and that transition was really big for me this year. But at the same time, so excited to start 2021 with what happened in December with this collaboration, this network that is taking place. Et c'est sûr que le sommet du 2021 va prendre forme différemment en collaboration avec l'école, mais aussi avec un énorme réseau dans la fonction publique. So my ultimate goal and my wings are even expanding further where, yes, it will be team coaching, more and more team coaching within the public service. And my ends will go reach out to all of you because team coaching cannot happen solo with France. It can only happen with collaboration, with learning specialists, with coaches, with different styles of coaching, and also with those psychometric tools that we've learned about this week. Donc, c'est un immense bonheur et plaisir de finir l'année 2021 de cette façon, avec vous, en collaboration, avec aussi enfin l'impression que le mot coaching est reconnu dans la fonction publique et que ce n'est qu'un début. Ce n'est vraiment qu'un début. Donc, je vous remercie pour votre collaboration, participation, votre implication. And for sure, we will stay connected through the Government of Canada Coaching Network. Et merci infiniment encore. Je n'ai pas plus grand mot que dire merci. Je pense que c'est ça. It's the biggest word that comes into my mind is thank you. Thank you, thank you. Et je vous souhaite un beau temps des fêtes, un bon repos, parce que 2021, oui, va devenir encore, selon moi, encore plus grand. Merci à tout le monde. Et sur ça, je pense que ça conclut notre sommet. Je voudrais remercier nos producteurs d'avoir été présents jusqu'à la fin, Barbara et Alexandre. Et surtout, je conclus cette séance avec vous. Elle va être diffusée sur notre plateforme Padlet. Et la plateforme Padlet, juste pour votre info, ça va être diffusé, mais c'est accessible jusqu'au 28 décembre. Donc, si vous voulez aller revisionner les vidéos, c'est là, jusqu'au 28 décembre. Ensuite, ils seront encore accessibles, mais sur le canal YouTube du gouvernement du Canada, le réseau des coachs du gouvernement du Canada, il y a un canal YouTube. Je vais tout vous envoyer ça dans un courriel. So you will learn all the other space where you will be accessing the podcast and all the learning material that we shared. Alors sur ça, je vous souhaite bonne fin de semaine. C'est vendredi, yay! Et je vous souhaite un bon retour à vos activités familiales. Enjoy the weekend, everyone. Thank you.